just literally walking out so that there are not enough members present to conduct business. It's a kind of break glass sort of move. It's happened just 4 times in the long, august 175-year history of the Texas legislature. In 1870, it happened when 13 Texas senators walked out in protest of a militia bill. They were arrested by the governor's forces. In 1979, a group of 12 senators hid from the State House for days to prevent a quorum on 2 bills related to primary elections.
Again this morning, Lieutenant Governor Bill Hobby called senators to order. And once again, no quorum. The killer bees gone, as they have been since Friday. The 12 fugitive senators have eluded 50 full-time state patrolmen, investigators, and Texas Rangers. Police even searched by helicopter and in Mexico. But patrolmen failed, and so were nicknamed the Bumblebees.
It happened again in 2003 when 50 Democrats fled to Oklahoma, breaking quorum in the face of a Republican Party plan engineered by Karl Rove to redistrict mid-decade, which was totally novel, violated the very long-standing norm of that being a once-in-a-decade undertaking. And then it happened again, as you just heard from Beto O'Rourke, this weekend when Democrats walked off the State House floor to keep a sweeping voting restrictions bill from passing. Democratic Texas Representatives Jessica Gonzalez and Rafael Anchía both participated in that walkout, and they join me now. Maybe I'll start with you, Representative Gonzalez. If you can tell us the objections your caucus had to this legislation and how this came about as a way of dealing with it.
Yeah, well, from the get-go, I serve as vice chair of the Elections Committee, and from the entire process, the bill was trying to be rushed through committee. We were not known as committee members when we were going to actually vote on the bill. There was conversations that were being had behind closed doors. There were agreements as far as amendments, Democrat amendments, when the bill hit the floor initially, and those amendments got stripped out. Ultimately, the drafts of the bill kept changing and changing, and we didn't get a copy of it until like the 11th hour, close to midnight, the day before it was going to come to the floor. The bill added additional provisions that were in either version, whether it was in the House version or the Senate version, and there were just blatant attacks on the Black and brown community.
So, how did you and your colleagues, Representative Anchía, how did you guys figure out or decide to do this collectively?
Chris, it's good to be back, and it's good to be on with my colleague Jessica Gonzalez. This is something that we've been working on really all session, and it culminated in the walkout. We fought hard against the prior versions of this bill, and when it finally was dumped on us at the 11th hour, as Jessica said, we knew we had to kill it. We were going to kill it one way or another. We were either going to talk it off or debate it off the calendar. We were going to kill it with points of order or other procedural maneuvers. And if all else failed, we were going to walk off the floor and break quorum. I'm proud that Democrats did that, and proud that we protected the voting rights of Texans.
Representative Gonzalez, the governor is very angry. He's threatened to defund the legislature, to veto the bill that actually provides your funding. My understanding is you guys make about $8,000 a year and then a per diem in session. So you're not making like, NBA basketball player salaries over there. But what's your response to the governor's floating this?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, the governor resorted to make it a threat because we just followed rules that were passed by this body. Same rules that Republicans have used this entire session to rush legislation through. We saw that happening last week. And these are rare moves that were made in the Senate as well. But, who it really affects, is our staff who work many, many hours to make sure that the Capitol is up and running.
So then now, Representative Anchía, I have a thing for Texas politics, so I follow it quite closely. You guys have you got a strange thing every other year. There's sessions, but then there can be special sessions, and you're always up against the clock. The governor can now call a special session and is expected to. Like, where does this now go? This is not dead yet.
Well, the governor can call a special session at any time, and we'll see if he does. If he wants to have a conversation about stripping voting rights from Texans, I'm ready to have it. I'm a first-generation American of this country. My mother left Mexico that had one-party rule for 70 years, and my dad from northern Spain literally left dictatorship. So I'm ready for this fight. I was born ready for this fight. And candidly, they came to this country for the ideals that she represents. I mean, voting rights are fundamental to our democracy. And if Greg Abbott wants to put on a special session, the fact that he's going to strip away voting rights with no evidence, including statements from his Secretary of State that we had a safe, secure, and successful election, we can have that conversation. Because it's not just going to be 67 Democrats. We're going to be joined by thousands of Texans, people like Beto O'Rourke and many, many others who are going to come here to the Capitol and make sure that the eyes of America and the eyes of the world are on us. We're the 9th largest economy in the world. We need to have a robust democracy, not one where it's harder to vote.
Texas State Representatives Jessica Gonzalez and Rafael Anchía, both of whom walked out, broke quorum, and that bill will not be passed. We'll see what happens next. Great to have you both on. We will keep following the story. Appreciate it. Next, the